powerful video for you if you are suffering with thoughts of self-deletion, which is kindergarten language for suicide, or if you're giving up on life in general, if you feel down, if you feel dismayed. The Bible does talk a lot about that, but we're going to be very practical in this video, and we're going to give a geopolitical Christian perspective on what you might be dealing with. Before I start, I need to make it very clear that I am not a licensed therapist, and I am not the person that you should come to if you have these problems. I have provided a link, phone numbers, text numbers that you can send your information to, or you can call immediately if you are feeling in a crisis right now. Your parents may not be able to help your society, your culture, your community. Your friends may not be able to support you immediately. However, there are professionals and there is free help at 988. You can text or call that number. También tienen este sitio de web en español. Y tengo el sitio de web en el link abajo de este video. So if you need help in English o en español, se necesitan ayuda sobre pensamientos de matarse, look in the link below, búscalo en el link abajo de este video y tú puedes encontrar la información. You can find the information that will assist you. They have professionals, there's professional help. I provided multiple links. So I just want to make that very clear. I'm not here to be a therapist. I am speaking about geopolitical Christianity and offering you an apex human perspective on thoughts of self-deletion, removing yourself from the senses, that sort of a thing. Now, I hate the word hope, but it was an okay video. It was an okay link. It was an okay word for the thumbnail. So forgive me for using the word hope. I'm very anti-hope. I'm more pro-certainty. Geopolitical Christianity is about certainty. It's about knowing. And it's about getting from where you are to where you want to be and living your best life now. Most geopolitical Christians, apex humans, are going to have thoughts of giving up on life. You just are, because you're an exceptional human in a mediocre culture, in a mediocre society, in a mediocre world. And so, like Jesus said, my followers are given to me and the world hates them because they are in this world, but not of this world. You are here in this world. You're an outsider. So you're going to have these dark thoughts at times. This will happen. But we're going to go through the video and talk about how we conceptualize this as geopolitical Christians. And throughout the video, I'm actually going to consistently say, check out the links below. If you have thoughts of giving up on your life, text 988. Now, if you're in the United States. If you are outside of the United States, I am sorry, I do not have links to those numbers, but I do believe the 1-800 number associated with 988 or texting 741-741, text the word home to 741-741, they can provide you assistance. So forgive me if you're in a country that does not have that assistance. I hope that the 988 or the 1-800 numbers that I've listed in the link to this video, the description to this video, will be of assistance. Okay? So welcome, Tin Kilver. I'm talking about a very serious topic today. And so I am going to eventually try and jump in the chat from time to time. But this is for people that are dealing with thoughts of self-deletion. I've already discussed what self-deletion is. You can watch the full video later. So we're going to get right into this very important topic. A warning, if you have thoughts of self-harm or self-deletion, removing yourself from the senses, listen up, get help. Get help, number one, hands down. Let's get into the video. Like I said, most apex humans are going to have dark thoughts, dark moments, dark days. In this video, we're going to be talking about what are the thoughts of self-deletion? What are they? What can they be caused by? What is the evidence-based reason for that? Number one. Number two, we're going to talk about why you have these thoughts from an apex human perspective. And then three, we're going to talk about how you can combat and overcome these thoughts with professional help and also just through certain practices that assist. But always get professional help if you can, if you reach that. And then number four, finally, we're going to give you some help resources that you can call. I've already presented the help resources, but you can find them in the description to this video. Okay? And there are links there as well, multiple links for group help, for personal help, and these links are free. Pardon me, picking my nose there. All right. Yeah, make sure you reach out 10 Kilver. So, like I said, I'm not a licensed therapist. I do have a doctorate in human development, but that is my area of expertise is spirituality, sexuality, and identity. That is my area of specialization. I considered getting a MFT, becoming an MFT or LSW, and getting licensed in that area. I did hold a human. Uh, I held other licenses and certifications, but I do not do that work anymore. My focus is much more broad, more systemic. Okay, so anyway, that's what I have to say. So point one, um, mainstream about ideas about self-deletion don't always account for your apex human journey. Okay, they don't always account for the pain, the fear, the insecurity, and the suffering that you have in your life all the time. And that's okay because they cannot always do that. That's why it's important to reach out for professional help so you can get individual help for yourself. Um, so I'm going to list some of the things, first of all, that you can do right off the bat. First of all, you have to be able to recognize the signs, recognize depression, low morale, low mood, low. Often when it's rainy or when we have geomagnetic storms, that can impact your sleep patterns, your melatonin synthesis, which can lead to some uh, fluctuations in your mood, which can negatively impact you. So, excuse me. Um, so, pardon me. It's very important that you reach out and get the help that you can get. Okay. So, there's no one here, so I'm going to take a chance to look at my notes. Okay. Okay. All right. So, um, thoughts of self deletion or removing yourself from the senses are often associated with mental illness, sometimes brain injury, and these sorts of things. But from the geopolitical Christian perspective, which is what I'm presenting here, like I said, I'm going to say it a bunch of times. If you're watching this video later, forgive me for repeating myself a ton of times. Make sure you get the help. 988, check out the link in the description below because there are people coming in and out of the chat. And so there are people that are feeling hopeless. They're wanting to give up on their life, that sort of a thing. And they need help. And they don't realize it, or maybe they don't feel the courage to. They don't have people around them, and they just don't know. 988, check out the link and the phone number in the description. So like I said, what are thoughts of giving up on life? What do these come from? From a geopolitical Christian perspective, apex human understanding, it is a demonic attack. And again, we talked about what demonic attacks are, and it's not a ghoulish bat-winged thing trying to bite your ear off. It's not that. It's just an energetic, it's just an electromagnetic pulse that goes anti-life. God flows this way, right? Progress, growth, life, expansion. But death is the opposite of that. And so a demonic attack is any sort of electromagnetic pulse that is anti to human life. And this is more of a rationalist perspective on it. I get it. But a demonic attack just means that these self-deletion thoughts are not your thoughts. They are thoughts that exist within the ether of life and in the world around us, and they're not your thoughts. And that's why getting help is so important, because when you get assistance, you're able to identify your thoughts, your thinking patterns, and what's good for you, what's healthy for you. When you are overwhelmed by these thoughts from outside that can be troubling, yes, they may feel like they're your thoughts because they're using your verbiage and your tonality and maybe your patterns of thinking, but they're not your thoughts. Your thoughts do not lead to thoughts of self-deletion. Your thoughts lead to progress, creating new things, ambition, creativity, flow, joy, pleasure, and purpose, and all these things. So that's what your thoughts are associated with as an apex human. Okay, so that's that. So from the geopolitical Christian perspective, any type of thought that would encourage you to end your life or leave this world or something like that is a thought that is a demonic thought. It's from something other than yourself, and you're just under a certain attack. Okay, so why do you have these thoughts, or why would an apex human have these thoughts? From a geopolitical Christian perspective, again, like I've said, check out 988 if you need help. Text home to 741-741 and move forward. And by the way, all this stuff is in the description. Your inner genius wants to shine, but your shell of kind of demonic thought And low vibes isn't giving up or letting go. So when you experience times when you have very intense emotions of self-deletion and you're planning it or something like that, first thing, get assistance, guys, okay? But from the geopolitical Christianity perspective and the apex human perspective, that is a tug of war. There's a part of you, your inner genius, that wants to move forward into prosperity and purpose and peace and pleasure and purpose and power as it pertains to you. Then there's another part of you that is tied to insecurity, doubt, fear, self-criticism, self-hatred, and not feeling good enough. And those two parts are at war, and you are the battleground. Your mind is the battleground. And, you know, again, brain injuries aside, substance abuse aside, these things are at tug of war. And so these forces are pulling you apart. And what happens is you have to make a decision. You can give up on your dreams and fall into a depression, a sad state, a demonic possession, or you can choose the life that God has for you and move forward. And that's where that tug of war happens. And that's why people feel so torn when they get into those dark nights of the soul, very dark periods of life. And so that's why a lot of apex humans will have these experiences, okay? You might feel these attacks, and these are just the result of a death/birth experience that you're having. Okay, so what's happening when you have these sorts of thoughts is that you are transcending something in the past. Something in the past is dying, and you're actually looking into the abyss. You're actually facing a death. That's what you're facing, and that's why you have these thoughts of self-deletion, that sort of thing. What you are being called to do is delete the old self, not physically delete yourself, but delete the old self, meaning cut all ties to who you were in the past. Cut all ties to your old self. Cut all ties to your old, to not even your insecurities, but to the insecurities that you've adopted, the self-criticism that you've adopted, the self-hatred and self-denial and all that. You have to cut ties to that and move forward. Now, there's certain events that can trigger it, like a breakup, or you didn't get the job, or weren't accepted into the school, your parents are super critical, your friends have left you. These are ideal opportunities for your apex humanity to awaken and shine. And very few people have the courage or the intelligence, unfortunately, to tap into that and to move forward through the veil. And so what they do is they harm themselves, or they allow these thoughts to take over, and they end up deleting themselves from the census. So, but apex humans go through this, and you may go through it multiple times, and that is okay. Knowing that these sorts of thoughts are actually far more common than you might imagine. They're far more common than you might imagine. This is a lot of people just don't talk about it. A lot of people hide it because it's marginalized. It's, you know, people that if you say, oh, I have these thoughts of self-deletion, then people will pity you. They'll treat you weak and stupid and all that other stuff. And it's just terrible. It just adds to the darkness. It adds to the demonic attack. So you are transcending when you have these thoughts. And if you're an apex human and you're watching this video, you get that. You understand that. So make sure you like the video, share, subscribe, all that other stuff. So there are some external factors that might cause you to have these thoughts. There are geomagnetic storms that a study in 2018 by Cambridge University just published that there was a 32.7% increase in psychosis for males 2 weeks following a geomagnetic storm. This was just admissions into hospitals. This is based on admissions into hospitals. Seasonal affective disorder can impact your mood. Like right now, it's raining a lot, it's dark, you're not getting a lot of sunlight. That can impact your mood as well. Mental illness, obviously a family history of mental illness, as well as brain injury. You may not know that you have had brain injury. You may have been in sports and suffered brain injury. So getting the proper types of supplements and assistance from medical professionals and things like that can help you. There are lots of studies that show lion's mane has a profound impact on helping the brain to heal itself. So lion's mane as a supplement is a very good one. If you just want to know, do your own research, talk to your medical professional to know what's really up. And pardon me if this is really nerdy, but this is for the highest minded apex people who need to stay here. People that don't, They won't get it, and they'll move on, and they'll go on to the next world. So yeah, like I said, Cambridge University Press in 2018 put out a study. It was 36.2% of men. There was a 36.2% increase in manic depression, illness, 2 weeks after geomagnetic storms. There was a uptick in female psychosis, and there were issues that came up with that. But psychosis with females did not have a statistically significant uptick in this study following geomagnetic storms. Okay. One of the reasons that they think, or two of the reasons that they think might be causing this, is a pineal gland impact by the solar events. And thank you for the like. Uh, and then also melatonin synthesis, which can impact your sleeping patterns. So if you're not sleeping a good, rich night's sleep, look, and by the way, you don't necessarily have to just sleep well at night. Sometimes you can take naps during the day, and that can help to supplement the sleep that you miss at night. You may have a different circadian rhythm than other people, so that means you need to sleep during the day. And I can tell you for a fact, at certain times of the year, I need to sleep during the day. I need to take a nap during the day, and I feel a ton better. I'm far more productive. So it just depends on you. Know your brain, know your body. You can talk to a professional, medical professional, or psychological, mental health professional. That can help you understand these things. You can also find scholarly journals and research online that'll help you. So, how do you beat thoughts of self-deletion? Or, oh, you feel like, man, I want to give up on life and I just want to end it all. So, there are several things to do. First and foremost, reach out to 988, text them, call that number. It is a suicide prevention hotline. However, from the geopolitical Christian perspective, you must change your inner narrative. When it comes to these thoughts, anytime these thoughts come up, remember that from a geopolitical Christian perspective, you are experiencing a death. You're experiencing the death of something that is no longer useful, but is a part of you. And perhaps that is the bigger part of you at this time that is holding you back from your best life. And I can tell you, anytime that I felt like giving up on life, right on the other side of that was an exceptional pleasure, joy, power, peace, purpose, pleasure, purity, and power. I've already said power. So whenever you get these thoughts as an apex human, remember, and you already know this, what I'm saying to you, if you're an apex human and you're in the chat, make sure you drop a like. If you are an apex human and you have these thoughts of giving up on life, self-deletion, you already know that you are in a death birth experience. And you are being called to die to the old self and be born to the new self. There's something that you want in life, you will never have it. You'll never experience it. You'll never have it if you stay tied to that old person. If you went through a hurtful breakup, that was an opportunity for you to find a relationship that makes sense for where you're going. The person that you might have been in a relationship before who broke up with you or you broke up with them might have been holding you back, and that could lead to thoughts of giving up on life. And they're, men do it at a rate of 4 times as often as women, and that shows men are far more invested in a lot of relationships and far more emotional than we like to admit. Excuse me, pardon me. So keep that in mind. An apex human understanding is that this is a death birth experience, and it's time for you to die to the old self and be born to the new. Paul says, I die daily. And that is not like he goes and jumps off a bridge or ends his life or anything like that. It just means that he dies to who he was before. We as apex humans, as geopolitical Christians, die to who we were before. The man that I am today literally looks like, talks like, even smells differently than, I use different colognes. I don't know. But everything about who I am today is 180 degrees from who I was 7 years ago, and 7 years before that. Each time I go through a major rebirth, death and rebirth cycle. And this is just part of being apex human. So the geopolitical Christian perspective on wanting to give up on life, losing hope, that sort of thing, you are facing a portal and you're going into a new life. Allow the old self to die away by moving forward. So what must you do to successfully die to the old self? Okay. First of all, what are you dying to? You're dying to self-doubt, and I'm talking about spiritually, metaphorically. What are you dying to in your mind, in your heart, and your spirit? You're dying to self-doubt, meaning self-doubt needs to die in you. Self-criticism, self-hatred, fear, insecurity, and I talked about self-doubt, but doubt in general, that you can do the thing that you desire to do, you can go the place you want to go. You are dying to those thoughts. You're dying to that way of life. And so that part of you may not want to let go. It may not want to end. And what it'll try to do is take you with it. And what you have to do is you have to recognize that. The moment you recognize that, you are now holding on to a greater power that will pull you through that dark night of the soul, that will pull you through the darkness into the light. The weak version of you from the past that needs to die wants to take you with it. Don't let it. Okay? So allow the weak part of you to fade away. Get through your dark night of the soul. Stay in this world. Stay with us. And give yourself, if you need to say, I need to stay around one more minute, stay here one more hour, one more day. Just give yourself 24 more hours and see what happens. Journal about the growth that you've experienced. It may still be hard, but the fact that you made it through that dark night of the soul means that you can make it to the next level. And that dark night of the soul can last for a day, a week, a minute, whatever. But you will get through. The quicker you allow this shift to happen within yourself, the quicker you'll get to the other side. And I'm telling you, on this side of that dark night of the soul, on this side of the veil, is peace, pleasure, purpose, prosperity, power, like you never could have imagined. So, what are some things that you can do when you get in that dark night of the soul? Act on your highest joy. You may be in the pits of hell, emotionally, spiritually. Act on your highest joy. What does that mean? Let me give you an example. Let's say you were turned down for that thing at the university or something, and you're just feeling like a mess. And let's say leading up to this, you've been super healthy. You've only been eating vegetables and fruits and all this stuff. Don't destroy your diet. Go out and get a piece of cake or a little thing of ice cream, right? But do it intentionally. What I'm saying is aim for the best next feeling that you get. Maybe that doesn't work for you. What I'm saying is think of what would you have to do to feel better. Do what you can to think of that. And I know it can be hard because the thoughts can just overwhelm your head, but do that. Now, do what you don't think is possible. And what I mean is, like, for instance, let's say you want to give up on life and it's because you don't feel the courage to face a bully or something like that. You don't necessarily have to put yourself in danger, but maybe set up a scenario in your mind where you go head to head with that bully. You beat the crap out of the bully in your mind. You can actually set this scenario up in your mind. And that gives you enough courage to stand up a little taller. And this is a psychodrama thing that I learned from Anton LaVey. This is why those sorts of people are important for geopolitical Christianity. But he was saying, do psychodrama. Like, you can sit down, get in a meditative state, and imagine yourself defeating your enemies or defeating someone who has been tormenting you. Because a lot of people self-delete after being tormented through bullying and things like that. And so one of the things that he said is you can sit down, get in a meditative state, and you can imagine yourself defeating this adversary. You defeat them in the most deliciously violent ways, only in your mind. Do not act on this out in the world, okay? But only in your mind, and go through that process. And just by going through that process will lift your spirit a little more. I can tell you in some of the darkest moments of my life, I would read the Satanic Bible. I would read the Satanic verses by Anton LaVey. Yes, I'm a geopolitical Christian. But these things help to keep me going. Why? Because of the use of the science of psychodrama. I was able to use these sorts of plays in my mind only, not out in the world, but only in my mind, to create a scenario where I cultivated a sense of power. I cultivated a sense of strength that allowed me to stand up and stay here one more day. And then the next day, I would go for a run. And that's the next thing. So psychodrama is one of the first things. You can work through these things. Like, let's say you have a parent that's getting on your nerves and just driving you insane. Sit down, go in a meditative state, and just identify or imagine yourself defeating this person, okay? Just in your mind. Don't act on it. Another thing that you can do is move your body. Get out and run. One of the things I did, I remember one time I was feeling really down, and I went out and just ran in the rain. Ran in the rain. I just ran and ran and ran. Um, Oh man, like for 45, I had no other choice. I'll be honest, man. I didn't have a car. My car had been broken into, but I ran for like 45 minutes in the rain. And I can tell you, it was so invigorating. Of course, I was soaked, but yeah, it was very invigorating. So anything that can move your body can help your mood. When you move your body, lots of different chemicals are released in your brain. Oxytocin, um, other, let's see, other positive hormones that are released in the brains. I can't remember the names of them at this moment, pardon me. But your brain starts to react because what your body, prayer is not what you say with your mouth. It's what you do with your spirit, your heart, and your body. And so when you stand tall and erect and strong, you're giving your brain an idea of who you really are. And your brain responds to that. Now, if you hunched over and said and walked depressed and stuff, your brain is going to respond to that as well. So changing your body position, moving, exercise, yoga, working out, whatever, run, swim, etc. Go in the forest, get out in nature. There are lots of ways that you can change your mental state. So if you do find yourself in a place where you are giving up on life, first of all, call for help, get professional help, get with people that you trust, that you know you can trust. But second of all, act on your highest intentions. The things that will give you the greatest joy in this moment, act on that. Use psychodrama. Use ideas in your head. Go through scenarios that will give you a sense of power. Because a lot of people feel powerless, and that's what causes them to feel like giving up on life. That's the one thing they have power over. And third but not least, is get out and exercise. Move your body. Breathe heavy. Yoga, workout, swim, run in the rain. Get out in nature. Move your state, change your step. That will beat those demonic thoughts that want to go contrary to life. Okay? All right. So, for the fourth part of this is first of all, I want you to understand that you are a son or daughter of the Most High. You're an apex human. The world needs you. God wants you here. God does not want you in heaven. That's where we're all going to go. That's our ultimate home. There is no hell for a geopolitical Christian. For the rest of the Christians, they're going to go to hell if they eat the wrong thing or fornicate or get a tattoo or turn gay or something. They're all going to go to hell. But you won't as a geopolitical Christian because you don't believe in hell. And you only go where you believe you're going to go after you die. So you're going to go to heaven after this life anyway. Why not make this life the best life you can possibly make it? So, as an apex human, as a child of the Most High, make sure that you stay here and contribute the very best to this world, because there are cures, there are solutions, there are technologies that are inside of you that this world needs, that it will never have if you take those to the grave. So make sure you stay here and feel the great existential joy that comes from being successful in that way. Oh man, I'm losing light here, so pardon me. It's really raining out, which is annoying to say the least. I like the rain. Ugh. I like the rain, but I'm defeating something major here, and it's trying to be a little stupid, but I'm not gonna let it. We're not gonna let it win. It's very small. That's why it tries to pretend like it's big. Let me rain on you and let me be dark and let me da da da. So, pardon me. I'm gonna set up my light here and just give me 1 second. Yeah. All right. It's just all right. There we go. All right. Okay. Let's get back to it. This is a little bit longer. I was thinking of doing multiple parts, but I think I can get through this. So really importantly, reach out to 988. You can text or call them. They have it in English and in Spanish. Puedes llamar a 988 para ayudarte con pensamientos de matarse. Okay? So also, you can call 1-800-273-8255. It's 1-800-273-8255. If you're a vet, hit number 1 once you get through. And si habla español, puedes oprimar el número 2. Perdón. Okay? And so that's that. And the other resources are listed in the description to this video. Okay? So as we close, so wrong. That's the wrong one. Okay. Yep. Pardon me. So as we close, you got to love yourself. No one else can love you until you love yourself. No one else can value you in this world until you value yourself. Not your parents. I mean, your parents love you initially when you come to the world. And even if they don't, it's irrelevant. Um, but at the end of the day, you've got to learn to love yourself. And I know it can sometimes be hard because there are people that come into this world and they don't know what love is through their parents. And so if you're exposed to that, you've got to find people that will love you. And sometimes the people that are outside of your family situation, the love that they feel for you, the respect they give to you is foreign or uncomfortable, but you know it's the right thing for you. And so you've got to cultivate a sense of self-love. And that is a core pillar of geopolitical Christianity. Being an apex human means that you have exceptional self-love, exceptional selfishness, rational selfishness. So it's very important for you to have that and to exhibit those things for yourself, because once you do, the world will respond. The world will love you. The world will appreciate. The world will respect you. And if it doesn't, that will just fall off your back. That'll just bounce off of you because it'll be irrelevant. Anything that contradicts your way of seeing yourself becomes irrelevant. And you'll start to notice that. So keep that in mind. All right. And also remember, as we come to a close here, you're not alone. More people have thoughts of self-deletion than you might think. A lot of people just don't talk about it because of the marginalization, the pity, all the stupid pretend, oh, I care about you, buddy. And you know they don't give a fuck about you. So, you're not alone. Believe it or not, there are more people walking around with smiles on their face, looking chipper and dipper Dan, that are struggling with thoughts of self-deletion. So just keep that in mind that you're not alone. Reach out to the resources that are listed in the description to this video. Get help as soon as you can. Get support as soon as you can. All right. And finally, I keep saying finally. Yeah. Okay. Here we're finally closing. If thoughts return, it'll say you've defeated them, and it's been a year, and the thoughts come back. Ask yourself, what if my best life is on the other side of this dark night? What if my best life is on the other side of this dark night? If your best life is on the other side of this dark night of the soul, stay here with us. Because I can tell you, I've been on the other side of the veil many times. It's not really much over there that you want to see. I mean, so in the Christian world, the mainstream Christian world, they try to paint heaven like it's, oh, so great. No, it's not. Okay. It's wonderful, but it's where we come from. Okay. And I've had a couple of death experiences in my own life prior to my exploration of mind-altering substances outside of the country. But even as a child, I had a couple of near-death experiences, and I can tell you, it's beautiful and all that stuff, whatever. But here's where it's at. Here's where life wants to be, because here is where you have a beginning and an end. Here is where there's order and structure. Here you have so much more power to create and to shape and evolve and move things and see the results. Okay, that's a geopolitical Christian perspective. I cannot prove that in any way, shape, or form, but consider that. What if your best life is on the other side of this dark night of the soul? And if you give up now, you will miss out on the best life ever. I can tell you, every single time I peered into the abyss, stared into the abyss while chewing glass, as Elon Musk's call it, because I know he's had these moments. And I said, no, I'm going to stay. I'm going to do everything I can to stay here. Right on the other side of that, within 24 hours, my life did a 180. And it was just like, whoa, I didn't know life could be so good. Because prior to this, life had never been so good. So imagine every single time you get attacked by these demonic thoughts of self-deletion, ask yourself, what if my best life is on the other side of this dark night? If it is, doesn't matter how long that dark night lasts. You can make it through it and you can get to your best life. And imagine the confidence, the clarity, the strength, the enthusiasm you'll have. Imagine how much power you'll have on the other side of this dark night. Imagine that. Imagine that you defeated Satan himself. You defeated the devil himself. Hell, you even defeated God, like Jacob. Fought the angel and won. He fought Michael the angel, which is a representative of God in the Bible. And he won. Of course, Michael broke his hip or whatever, but Jacob still won. Jacob became the father of many nations. Jacob became the one with the birthright and all that great stuff, right? Jesus came through his lineage. So think about that. On the other side of this dark night is your best life. Stay here. God wants you here. Because imagine, okay, this is just me being silly. All right, so don't take this seriously. Let's say you get to heaven and God's like, what the fuck are you doing here? I want you down there. Why are you here? This is where you live. You're supposed to be down there doing the stuff that I said for you to do. Imagine you gave up too early. Stay here. You're going to win. And the best life for you is here. So obviously we all go home to heaven after this, but just take your time. Finish this life out first, okay? All right, so keep going, even when it gets tough, when you get tired, when you're like, I'm done, I'm over it, I can't keep it going. So that's what I have to say about that. This thought just came to me while I was just enjoying the best part of my life. I was just like, God, my life is so good. And I thought back to all the dark days I've had where I didn't think I could make it, didn't think I was going to make it. And I was like, man, imagine if I had given up. Imagine if I had given up before now. And by the way, self-deletion or giving up on your life or yourself, that sort of, it doesn't just refer to actually committing suicide, okay? It doesn't just refer to that. It also refers to if you have a business idea and you're working on it and you've been working on it for many years and it's not clicking off, it's not taking off, and you just say, I'm just going to throw this idea in the trash and go back to my 9 to 5 and give up. That's another form of self-deletion because your gift is in your enthusiasm, in your passion, right? And what you love the most. And so there are gifts and dreams and desires and passions and things in your heart that God is trying to get into the world, but can only get it into the world through you. You're the only one that God can bring this into the world through because God made you to bring it here. And imagine if you're giving up on that for a fucking 9 to 5 or for, my parents want me to go to this school, so but I want to go to this school. My heart is telling me to go here. I did that when I was younger. Again, I'm not going to beat myself up. I did the best thing I could do with what I had, but and I love myself through all of that, through the mistakes of what I did, but meaning following what my mom wanted me to do as opposed to what I wanted to do, what I knew was best for me, what gave me the greatest joy. So that's okay, but God has something, a gift to give to the world that only you can carry. God wants you here. So stay here. Bring that into the world. You're going to get the demonic attacks. It happens. It's not going to stop. I mean, you're going to defeat it perhaps once and for all. That's fine. But as a child of the Most High, as a son or daughter of the Most High, you can defeat those thoughts. You can survive. You can more than survive. You can thrive. You can prosper. You can flourish. And that's what God has for you. And you're never going to flourish if you stay this big. People that stay this big, the mediocre worms that don't ever do anything in life, that stay NPCs for eternity, they're happy with nothing. They're happy being losers. They're happy never having a dark night of the soul. So think of having a dark night of the soul as a privilege, as an honor. If you go to if Satan comes to defeat you in the night, which we have different views on Satan as geopolitical Christians, but let's say a demon comes to defeat you in the night, think of it as an honor. A demon will never go to war with a worm. A demon will go to war with another angel because the demon knows that you are stronger than him and that you are better than him, but you're asleep and you've forgotten that. So wake up. Hey, God, wake the fuck up. Realize that your eternal power, your strength is here and now. And the moment you take that power, you can defeat all the demons. And then they just stop bothering you because they're tired of getting their ass kicked. All right. And so, like I said, if you deal, this is a rare thing. So make sure you drop a like in the comments. This is a rare thing. Apex humans are the only ones that really deal with this stuff. And I'm saying men and women deal with wanting to give up, thinking, okay, what I desire in the world can't be mine. Oh, yes, it can. Oh, and then, by the way, it already is. All you have to do is defeat that demon that tells you you're not good enough. You can't have it. That's not for you. You sinned in the past, and so you missed the boat. The train has gone and left you at the station. No. Don't let those demons win. You are greater than them. You are the lords of this earth. You are the ladies of this earth. You are the rulers of this world, okay? You're the masters of this reality. Take on your mastery as a son of the Most High, as a daughter of the Most High, as a daughter of the Creator, son of the Creator. And when you do that, your life will be exceptional. There will be nothing that will be kept from your hands. Okay? So keep that in mind. Stay up. Never, ever give up. And if you get tired, reach out for assistance. 988 1-800-273-8255. 1-800-273-8255 if you need assistance and you feel like giving up on life and you want to self-delete or something like that. You can always reach out for help. There are people that are there to help you, free help. And also you can pray to the saints. You can ask your ancestors to help you. I know I asked my grandfather to help me in times I was feeling dark and low and wanting to give up, wanting to leave this world. I reached out to my grandfather. My grandfather's been dead for 11 years. And he helped me. He came and helped out as much as he can from that level of awareness, right? And so, you know, just stay here. There's a gift that God wants to bring the world through you. And I want to see you bring your greatest into this world. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Make sure you comment below if this is something that has served you. I'm going to start trying. I'm going to actually start moving my content to another platform because I discuss things that can potentially get me banned or stuff like that. Potentially. You know, the Lord is telling me to make sure I put this stuff in a place where it's safer. So I will let you guys know. But the only way you'll know how to get the access to this is by liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting below. If you want to continue to find material like this that you really will not find anywhere else in the world, you just won't find it anywhere else. You won't find people talking about suicide and sexuality and all these things from a geopolitical Christian perspective like I do. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment below, because that'll help you get access to this message, this information. If you do have those thoughts, like I said, and I'll say it until I close this video, check out the links in the description below. That'll give you resources in California, but also resources throughout the United States. 988, text it or call it, 741-741. Text the word home there. Anytime you feel in those dark places and you feel like giving up. Also, you can call 1-800-273-TALK or 1-800-273-8255. 1-800-273-8255. 1-800-273-8255. Of course, there's a video. You can pause it and watch it again. But I will repeat it a bunch of times. Some people may be driving, and that'll help you to remember it. So anyway, listen. God loves you. Life loves you. It's time for you to love yourself. Thank you for staying. Those who did, make sure you drop a like before I jump out of here. And the full video will be posted on my channel. All right, guys. Stay up. Stay strong. Keep being an apex human. Thanks for watching.